Today, I'm going to build the most expensive team of all time, bringing in players with the highest cap hit for the 2023 season at every position, starting with the running back. Coming in at number 5 and number 4, we have Tony Pollard and Saquon Barkley, who are currently on their franchise tag, followed by Josh Jacobs, who has a cap hit of just under $12 million this season. But the two running backs that we can add to our team is going to be Nick Chubb, who is the second highest paid running back, and then at number 1, we have none other than King Henry, who is currently making $16.3 million, putting our total salary to $31 million with just 2 players on our roster. And you might think the highest paid players are just the best players in the NFL, but let me tell you, there are some surprises throughout this video. And that might be a problem because we can't end this video until this team lifts the Lombardi Trophy. Hunter Henry has the highest cap hit among active NFL tight ends at $15.5 million, but right behind him is 99 overall Travis Kelce coming in at $14.8 million. But since Hunter Henry is the highest paid tight end, he will be the starter, leaving Travis Kelce as a backup. The offensive line includes Laramie Tunsil at left tackle, Cody Whitehair at left guard, Frank Ragnow at center, Chris Listrom at right guard, and Brian O'Neill will close out the offensive line for a total cap hit of $90.5 million combined. Before we get to the quarterback and the wide receiver, we have to add the highest paid fullback, and that's Kyle Juszczyk, who's making $6.5 million this year, but at least he's the highest rated fullback in the game. For the wide receiver position, we are going to be adding 5 of them to the team, starting with the number 5 on the list, and that's Cooper Kupp, coming in at $17.3 million on his cap hit, followed by Courtland Sutton, who is unfortunately only an 83 rated in Madden. Coming in at number 3 is DJ Moore with his $20.1 million cap hit, with Mike Evans being the second highest at $23.7 million. And the highest paid receiver in the 2023 season is Amari Cooper. We're gonna order them by highest paid to lowest paid on the depth chart. I would have loved to add Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, or Devonta Adams to the team, but unfortunately their cap hit for the 2023 season is not in the top 5. Now moving on to the quarterback position, with a cap hit of $37 million, Patrick Mahomes will be joining the team. And just like that, we have the highest paid offense with a total cap hit of $299 million. Moving on to the defense, the safeties with the highest cap hit for the 2023 season is Quandre Diggs, coming in at $18.1 million, followed by Jamal Adams, who comes in at $11.5 million. We will have Diggs as the starting strong safety, and Adams will be backing him up, even though he's a lower overall. As for the free safeties, we are bringing in Justin Simmons, who is making $18.15 million this season, and Eddie Jackson, who will back him up, making $17 million. Just these 4 players alone on our defense brings our cap hit to $64 million. Continuing with the secondary, the 5th highest cap hit for cornerbacks is Denzel Ward, followed by Marlon Humphrey and Darius Williams coming in at 3. Luckily for our team, we could add Tre'Davious White at quarterback number 2 since he has a cap hit of $16.2 million, but the number 1 quarterback will definitely surprise you. With a cap hit of $19 million, Adoree Jackson of the New York Giants is the highest paid cornerback this season. At just a 79 overall, he will be corner 1, but we still have plenty of talent on our secondary. Moving on to the linebackers, we are about to get even better. Coming in at number 5 is Joey Bosa, who has a cap hit of $15.7 million, but he will not be making it onto our team. However, Matthew Judon, Khalil Mack, Danielle Hunter, and TJ Watt are the 4 highest paid outside linebackers, and they will be joining the team. TJ Watt and Danielle Hunter will be the starters, while Mack and Judon will back them up. Those 4 players combined for $83 million, and putting our defense's total to $220 million so far. As for the middle linebackers, CJ Mosley comes in with a cap hit of $21.4 million, followed by Shaq Leonard of the Colts at $19.9 million. The defensive line has some of the highest paid players in the NFL, and at defensive tackle, we have 2 of the highest rated players in the NFL right now in Aaron Donald and Chris Jones. Both of those players have a cap hit of over $26 million, and they will be carrying the defense for sure. The last 2 players coming off the edge will be Cameron Hayward coming in at number 2 with a cap hit of $22.2 million, and then Leonard Williams at a whopping $32.2 million. And just like that, the defense is complete with a total cap hit of $369 million. And we can't forget about the highest paid kicker and punter, which is going to be Justin Tucker and Trey's Way. After tallying up the total salary of this team, we have a team worth up to $677 million. This team is a 97 overall, but to make it a little bit more difficult, we have to win the Super Bowl within 3 seasons, or else I will be giving a jersey away to one of my subscribers who comments down below. And after simming through the mid-season, the highest paid team is playing pretty well. Currently 5-1 and second in the NFC NFC East right behind the Eagles. Patrick Mahomes is having himself a season, throwing for 1,800 yards, 15 touchdowns, and just 3 interceptions. And that was a big thanks to Amari Cooper and Mike Evans, who have been balling out. And this team carried that momentum through the second half of the season, going 16-1, earning themselves a first-round bye. Patrick Mahomes finished first in the NFL, throwing for 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns, while Derrick Henry was able to tack on 1,300 rushing yards and 11 touchdowns. And as expected, Aaron Donald finished with 20.5 sacks, but it was not good enough to beat Micah Parsons, who somehow ended up on the Broncos. A great first season for the highest paid players, but can they continue that dominance in the playoffs? They take on the Falcons, who somehow finished with a 12-5 record after beating the Packers in the wild card game. Mahomes and Cooper continue right where they left off with this beautiful 38-yard touchdown pass to take the lead. And they continued that dominance with Hunter Henry scoring the first touchdown of the postseason. As soon as the Falcons started the comeback, Mahomes and the rest of the highest paid offense worked down the field and then finished it off by finding Cooper Kupp, who gets in the end zone for 6. They went on to easily win the divisional round by a score of 35-14, where Mahomes only threw for 183 yards. Next up, we take on a very good 49ers team, who still have most of their roster intact minus Kyle Juszczyk. Although the highest paid team was able to score on their opening drive, the Niners were able to work down the field, getting on the board with 3 points. But even with that elite defense, Mahomes and the offense scored at will, taking a 21-3 lead heading into halftime. But late in the third quarter, Talanoa Hufanga recovered a fumble, and the Niners have a chance to score again. And they do. Purdy to Deebo Samuel for a 67-yard touchdown pass. And things went from bad to worse as Talanoa Hufanga picks off Mahomes. But Purdy wasn't done, finding Brandon Ayuk, who fights his way into the end zone to tie it up. Mahomes throws a costly pick to Fred Warner, and they can win the game here. The kick is up, and it's good! The Niners knock out the highest paid team in the NFC Championship game. The Miami Dolphins went on to win the Super Bowl over the Niners, but Patrick Mahomes is the NFL MVP this season. After every season that we don't win the Super Bowl, we will get a chance to open the mystery box full of upgrades. And I'm gonna pick this box right here, and it's gonna be a free agent signing. And the only free agent that we can really pick is DeMarcus Lawrence, so let's bring him on the team. Moving right into season number 2, this offense will continue to be led by Patrick Mahomes, but as you can see, Derrick Henry has regressed down to a 93 overall. And as for the defense, they continue to get better with TJ Watt up to a 98 overall, but our secondary looks to be struggling a little. And after simming the start of season 2, the team of the highest paid players are currently 6-0, beating some really good teams like the Eagles in week 2 and the Ravens in week 4. I decided to send them right to the playoffs because we should make it, and I was right. Once again, finishing with a 16-1 record with a first-round bye heading into the playoffs. Mahomes had a great second half of the season, leading the NFL with 4,500 passing yards, 47 touchdowns, and just 5 interceptions. Amari Cooper once again led the team with 1,300 receiving yards, while Aaron Donald finished 3rd in sacks this season, taking on the 11-6 Philadelphia Eagles in the divisional round. And the Eagles offense came out firing, Jalen Hurts throwing lasers right before keeping it for himself and scoring. On 4th and goal, they ended up faking the field goal, and Justin Tucker finds Hunter Henry in the end zone to tie the game. The game went back and forth, but with Patrick Mahomes at the helm, 1 minute left, he was able to get his team into field goal range with a pass to Mike Evans. It all comes down to a Justin Tucker field goal attempt. It's up, and it's good. The highest paid team is moving on to the NFC Championship game for the 2nd year in a row. Next up is the Atlanta Falcons, who are the only team we lost to this season. This was a high-scoring game from start to finish, but Mahomes ended up getting the better of Desmond Ridder, and the highest paid team are moving on to the Super Bowl. Mahomes ended up winning NFL MVP for the 2nd straight season, and we now take on the 13-4 Chargers. The first offensive drive ended up with a Justin Tucker field goal, and it's now up to the defense to get a stop. And they do, getting a big stop on 3rd and long. Mahomes and the offense continue to work their way down the field, but Mahomes makes a big mistake throwing an interception. Down 10-3, Mahomes needs to make something happen here, and he throws a beam to Mike Evans, who scores to tie the game up. Aaron Donald comes up with a big sack on Justin Herbert, and now Mahomes needs to get a score to take the lead. And they ended up settling for a field goal. 3rd down and 9. Justin Herbert steps back, and he throws an interception to none other than Adoree Jackson, who ends up taking it for 6. And just like that, the team of the highest paid NFL players win the Super Bowl in their 2nd season. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you check out where I used one college football program from every NFL team.